on August 15, 2012 at 9:10 a.m. It's all right if you don't remember, because I do. At that moment, my wife left, me alone with a 3-month-old baby son, Kai, to go back to work. It was the moment that launched me into an experience of dirty diapers, sleepless nights, and learning how to give. It was a moment that I became a stay-at-home dad. Mr. Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I didn't pretend that I was going to be a good stay-at-home dad. Didn't think it. After all, I am a busy entrepreneur who hates standing still. And my parents were busy working. My dad, 2 jobs. So I didn't have a role model. But after we almost lost our son during the delivery, we decided that someone should stay with him. Life is just too precious. And I was the obvious choice. Because my wife actually has a corporate job and health insurance. Watching her for the first 3 months, I thought, not a problem, this is going to be easy. The kid sleeps 16 hours a day. I can play with him and still get all my work done. Right. All right, those of you with children, you know how that delusion turned out. Huh? Those of you without children are probably not having children because you know how that delusion turned out. In the first week, I realized that 1, when you're dealing with milk-eating, diaper soiling, insomnia-inducing baby, you're lucky if you can get to shower before 5 p.m. 2, you really start to miss adult activities, like dinners out and even networking. And 3, baby boys can aim. But that wasn't the worst. The worst was all of a sudden I became the center of no one's attention. My wife only wanted to know about the baby. My own parents forgot to say hello to me on Skype because they were so interested in watching their grandson. And all my friends and business associates, well, let's just say that my best friend, when hearing that I became a stay-at-home dad, asked me about my milk supply. If you've ever faced an experience where you didn't get what you wanted, when the job or the health or the relationship didn't really live up to its expectations, how did you feel? Well, I felt really frustrated. And then I felt really angry at this. And when that didn't work, I went into sadness. And then self-blame, thinking, I can't do this. And when this didn't work, I got frustrated again. And then angry. And then sad. And then miserable. The worst time I had was at the end of October, when my wife left for a week-long trip to China, just as our son decided to start teething. It was somewhere around 3 a.m. when I was trying to diaper the right side of the baby and thinking just what a miserable life it turned out to be, when I heard, "Yik, yik, 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 yik." I looked at the other end of the baby, and Kai was reaching out to me, copathetically, with his smile and one tooth. And I thought, what am I doing? Why am I miserable when I have an opportunity that my father never had? The ability to see my son grow and develop. And I realized that my son was teaching me a lesson. He's teaching me how to give. Because, as you all know, what do children do? They take. But it allows us to give unconditionally. And when we do, the world changes. So I decided to give to my son, and all of a sudden, the chores turned into adventures. The diaper changing into a competition of trying to get from poop to finish in less than 30 seconds. And the crying That turned into a study of infant vocal variety. I tried to give to my wife as well, because I realized that she was under incredible pressure as a working mom, trying to balance the life. And just doing little things for her made a huge difference. I even gave to the community, starting a group for stay-at-home dads, where we complained about our wives, talked about sports, and competed on how many times we can lift our child over our heads. And in this process, I realized that the secret to getting is giving. I found a community of like-minded adults. My wife actually told me that I've done a good job, and she feels better leaving Kai at home, knowing that he can thrive with me. Most importantly, I was able to enjoy precious moments with my son. Like the one last week, when my 10-month-old son decided to walk. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He was standing, holding on to that divider of the playpen when he heard me speak to him. Looking at me, he thought that crawling was just too much work. So he launched himself, and for one moment looked really proud, until gravity took over. And then he went down. He started to cry, looked at me, and you know what I did? What any good parent or Toastmaster would do in this case. I applauded him for his effort. I put him up again. I moved back and said, come on, you could do this. Screwing up his courage, Kai launched himself again, and this time, with 3 drunken steps, landed right in my arms. Priceless. My fellow Toastmasters, we are often faced with times where life just doesn't give us what we want. And we have a choice of getting on the negative roller coaster of frustration, anger, sadness, and self-doubt. Or we can learn how to give. Mr. Toastmaster.